Ammonia, methanol, hydrogen. The fuels of tomorrow demand safety protocols we're only beginning to imagine. Can a guide written for oil transfers adapt to chemicals that could evacuate entire port cities if mishandled? Our experts examine whether the new framework is genuinely fuel agnostic or if we're one emerging cargo away from returning to the drawing board.
Andy?
Yeah, taking Ioannis's point there, can I ask Darren, is the new second edition, can it be future-proof? And the reason why I asked that question, if I go back to 2002, I remember being at a SIG2 forum where it was stated that commercial LNG will never happen. And if I just come forward 25 years, we've got more commercial LNG than we've ever had. So if we're looking at the OceanMF guidance now, the second edition, is it fair to say that that could be future-proof for, will we see transfer in ammonia? Will we see transfer in methanol, ethanol, or even hydrogen, or CO2, or other trace gases? Will we see that in the future? And does this new second edition, probably a leading question, will that cover that? Because I think there's going to be a lot more safety and risk applications being applied once we start going down the ammonia route, the methanol, ethanol, and hydrogen route.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to try to predict the future. If I could predict the future, I wouldn't necessarily be doing what I'm doing now. But
it's a leading question, so please.
Although I do love what I'm doing now. But I don't think the goal was to try to future-proof the document. I think the document, in the way it's laid out, and the contents of the document, I wouldn't say future-proof it, but it doesn't exclude future cargoes, or doesn't exclude or preclude the transfer of emerging fuels. The cargoes that you mentioned, both for fuel by use of the vessel, as bunkers, whether it be ammonia, ethanol, methanol, whatever the case may be, expanded use of LNG as bunkers, or what we more commonly see, I think, is expanded use or expanded transport of those molecules as cargo, because someone will be using that as fuel for something, whether it be for an automobile engine or thermal power plants, or as feedstock for other products. Those products, the transport of those products will continue to grow in the future. Now, how much it will grow, I can't imagine. But it will. It will continue to grow. But the way the document is laid out, the way the STS guide is laid out, is it's not meant to be exclusive to a certain set of cargoes. It's meant to provide a framework for conducting safe STS operations, and considerations taken into account in conducting those STS operations. It's not a prescriptive document of telling you how to do certain things, with the exception of the Fender calculations, because there's guidance in there, some very detailed guidance. As for the last bit of work that went into the document was the Fender calculations and the template for that. But it does lay out considerations taken into account when conducting STS operations. And as new cargoes come along, beyond what we described here, ethanol, methanol, expanded LNG, hydrogen perhaps in the future, these cargoes, these molecules will be transported, and inevitably they will be transferred from ship to ship. When it will happen, where it will happen, I couldn't tell you.
Time will tell.
It will happen.